So today we're talking about respect, right? And there are many different times we're gonna come back around to this topic because life is very simple. Life is very cyclical. Life is like it's the same shit. We say same shit, different day. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it's that's nothing. The part about it being a different day, right? Just talks about it's kind of like, right, okay, so I mean a day itself is a stereotype, because it's like, okay, well, we say it's 24 hours, sun up, sundown, the cycle. This is what we call a day, right? But we could have called it anything. We could have called it fucking shit. We could have called it Lenny. We could have called it James. So we call it a day. But the things that go on in a day, although we characterize the sun as being the metric, sometimes the sun doesn't seem to shine as bright on some days than others. Or just in general in our own individual lives, we realize that we have our own individual experiences. And so, in terms of having those individual experiences, there's a level of respect that needs to be had when dealing with each other, when communicating with each other, because communication is truly one of the most basic blessings, tremendous blessings that we have, in terms of it being, the thing that we describe as interacting with one another. In so many ways, there have been these distinctions between, again, there being our own internal worlds that we have to maintain, and then also our own external worlds that we obviously have to maintain, right? And it's kind of interesting where we meet different people in their maintenance of these separate worlds. You know what I'm saying? And also, in general, how these outcomes can come to be. Like what different results can be based off of people's decisions. You know what I'm saying? And it's actually it's beautiful. I think it's very beautiful, and definitely my aim is not to interfere with the beauty that is within that. Rather, my purpose or my intent is to the foundational bricks of a precedent of a level of awareness, of consciousness, if that's what you want to call it. It's unfortunate that that word has gotten such a bad rap in this time, but awareness also works, about the capabilities of people, the general intentions of people, especially in terms of our perspective on the world, like how the world should be. These things should no longer be a surprise to us in terms of, whether or not people intend to be peaceful, or good, whatever that means. And so being able to identify what that is, right? Being able to see what that is, then there should be, like I said, right? Like you would think that there would be a level that like we see the world right already, especially at this point. I mean, look at how far we've come. Look at all the things, the little gadgets and gadgets. But at the end of the day, though, like I said, there has been still a sort of lag or a delay, a very evident one, a very, very apparent one. And, I truly feel that, or yeah, I truly feel that, but it's very clear that until we get this problem fixed, yeah, it's gonna look really crazy and it's gonna get really dangerous. It could get really dangerous, for the folks up there, acting like they control things. It could get really, really dangerous, and the intent is not to apply pressure. I'm saying the pressure is inherent, and regardless of all of the things that I could say about that, particularly in this time, I think these things are unnecessary. You know what I mean? It is, like I said, very clear that there's been a very strong restraint from people who have been in positions of power, in terms of their perception of people who are, you know, subjectively in their eyes or whatever, or in terms of how the hierarchy has been created, and you know the game that they're playing, the games that they're playing, people are below them. You know, especially like regular people or whatever, or, you know, whatever they would consider to be below them. You know, because it's like in general, right? Whatever the thing is that we call masculinity, we know that there are certain ways that we will and will not tolerate being handled or being dealt with. And I don't know, right? Like I hear all the time about like etiquette and like ethics or whatever and like context and stuff, but I don't know. I've never really been able to accept just like some dude feeling like he can talk to me however he feels like he can talk to me. Like I don't care what the situation is. Like employer to employee, parent to child, you know, teacher to student. Like I was like, and again, it was like my attitude toward it wasn't to be rebellious. My attitude was actually to be like, you know, maintain a sense of like, you know, because like I said, it's like because of that perspective, people be looking at you from where you say you are or where they think you are. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to just taking you as you are. You know what I mean? And to a degree, you know, you do notice and you see, okay, yeah, you have to have a level of empathy because this is what people are used to. People are used to, you know, people operating on this level, on that level, or on the level of like itemizing people and itemizing things, and that being like the sum of people. But yeah, I don't. That's not enough, you know. Or at least like in my eyes, it's just like that kind of stuff, man, is the kind of stuff that has held me back, you know, from progress. Because on one hand, it's like, okay, yeah, no, I don't match up to whatever it is these things are that you're looking for from a person, so that you feel like you can, you know, communicate with me, um, or work with me or whatever. More than anything, right? Like, we've done so many things in terms of building our moral precedents that, like, it's like the only place where we actually look at philosophy is in law, right? And it's only so far, right? Because and it's kind of wicked how that goes because it's like because a lot of times the just like right, especially if a victim winds up being able to get some sort of revenge, whether it's to get out of their situation or whatever, they wind up punished, and it's not exactly an equal or a fair situation, even in that realm. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that we need to be more careful. But at the same time, you know, what's so interesting about the not pointing fingers thing is that they also say, you know, when you have a problem, especially, you know, these days, they say to call the name out. You know, who you talking about? Say what you're talking about, right? Like be more specific. You know, let it be known so that we know, because we don't know who you're talking about, right? But it's like, you know, and then you do that, and then they say, oh, but you shouldn't have said their name, and, you know, blah, 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 and this and that was obliged, and, you know, because, you know, the problem is, you know, people have no accountability anyway. So it's like, oh, you say my name, and, you know, rah, rah, rah. So, you know, all of this, and then you want to talk about it's a respect thing. But if your name is being called for a disrespecting, right, or for a respecting, then, you know, it's like, how are you gonna try to straw man the whole situation, talking about your integrity? It's like that's what we're talking about. Like we're talking about your integrity, uh, and and again, right? Like I'm being clear. This is how our conversations go, right? Like this is what we're talking about, you know, and we have to speak this way because we're talking about very general things, and these are things that we feel, and they're things that we can feel enough, especially for us to feel as if, you know, I am talking to someone directly, you know. Um, and hey, look, If the shoe fits, the shoe fits. I'm with that all day. I don't care. I'll let anybody feel how they want to feel. Part of my comfort with even being able to do this is the fact that I don't care what anybody thinks about what I have to say about what's going on. I care about your opinions. I care about if you can challenge it. I care about other people's perspectives, especially if they're valid and they work. You know what I mean? But I don't like useless nonsense. I don't like bullshit. I don't like just waste. Like I'm not in all of that. This podcast, right? Is not for the faint, right? Because if you think I'm talking to you, then you have to deal with that. Like on your unless like I say something, like unless I like say your name, or like whatever, but not or whatever, but like I don't care if right like a direct personal situation inspires something I say, like bro, if I don't say your name or whatever, right, or like it's not that deep. Like it's not like I didn't because there are larger points. Like I said, there's so many things that intertwine in terms of how things go in the world where we are, how we got to where we are, and where we came from and stuff like that. So, and addressing those things, I feel are very very important, especially as acquiring information. I would say is really the root of what is why I have gone the directions that I have, right, with my life, evolved and changed in the ways that I have and stuff like that. So, yeah, and of course, I would encourage anybody else to do the same. But yeah, let me know how you feel about respect. Let me know what respect is to you. Is respect uh responding quickly to texts? Is respect inviting you to things going on? Um, you know, they say respect is earned, not given. I personally disagree with that. Um, I say that respect is given because again, right? Like I don't think no nobody intends to be evil for real. I mean, there are people who have shit going on for sure, but and I don't think those people will never go away. Those people can never go away. Meaning the propensity of us having that in our environment, that personality, that character. But at the end of the day, the vast majority of people, and the true intent of the soul is to live peacefully, and to be good. And so, so it's just like respect is natural. Like respect, you give that off the jump. I mean, first and foremost, imagine a human who never saw another human, but then they see another human. It's like, oh shit. It's like, damn. Like that's the real first reaction. Other things can be conditioned. Other things can be, put on us, which are the things that we do with like our nationalities and like, things like that, and our naiveties and things like that, our ignorances, that our negligences that reveal through the decisions that we make with our lives and our predicaments and stuff like that. We can only control certain ones through our actual growing stages, our biggest growing stages, our most vulnerable growing stages, perhaps. And yeah, so respect has to be a given. Distrust, disrespect. Now that has to be earned because you have to have an event. I mean, how you just gonna pop off now? Like, cause like I've always been content with the idea of like, yeah, right. I don't have to say hi to every person who I pass by on the street, you know. But it at least is a respectful thing to say hi to people who say hi to you. You know what I mean? But sometimes you don't get that. You know what I'm saying? But usually, it's like come on, bro. It's like hi, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and there's probably a reason I'm saying hi, if not just to acknowledge your presence, which is sufficient for you, which is sufficient for any of us, you know, and you know, I'm just saying, man, respect is a given, you know. Disrespect is earned. You do things to be disrespected, especially because, like, too, on a social level, we do things where there are things that we do to disrespect, or that would be considered disrespect, but we don't take it like that, or we know that we don't take it like that because it's just sociality. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's just analyzing human behavior, because even that shit, it only works for certain people. I swear, man, this shit is so fickle, and we got to get our shit together. And the best way for us to do that is, you know, like I said, really get to establishing a precedent of understanding for what we're doing, where we're going, what we're, why we're here, because we still don't know the answers to these questions, and at one point, not long ago at all, we were actively working toward what that meant. But yeah, now it's it's like a desert out there, boy. It's like a desert out there. So yeah, but I don't know, man. It's just a lot of inauthentic shit, a lot of fake shit, and the people clearly don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it. It's something that is talked about a lot behind closed doors. And I want to invite as many of my brothers and sisters as possible into the conversation, to spread ideas, and also just to hear too, to have the example that, oh, everything is gonna be okay. Everything is gonna be all right. Or what does that look like? Who does have ideas? Yo, it's your boy Despues. I hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you for talking to me. Thank you for talking to Despues. I do look forward to more conversations. I do look forward to having more discussions. Make sure y'all getting these You Suck hats and all of that too. You know what I'm saying? These are real. You know what I'm saying? They're the first edition. They're the first batch. You know what I'm saying? They're pretty. Let the world know how you feel. You know what I'm saying? How we feel. You know what I'm saying? We tired of being shortchanged. You know what I'm saying? We're tired of being treated like we don't have brains. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't contribute to this society. You know what I'm saying? You suck.